Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Cake Muncher and welcome back to another episode of Cobblemon. You guys remember at the end of last video we got a leap. We also found and processed an archon fossil using this fancy machine right here. After doing a little bit more research, you can see that this bird unfortunately does not incubate because it is one of the Gen 8 fossils that requires a second fossil to go with it. So we can't do that yet. However, between videos, I did a little bit more reading, as I did last time, and found out how fishing works, at least like Cobblemon fishing. It turns out, I was like going through my stuff, and I was looking at my smithing template, and I was like, I don't understand what it means by an upgrade. And so I hit U on it in my Just Enough Items menu, and I was like, oh, it's how I make the poke rods. So, I made a lure ball poke rod. Now, my thought is that since next video we're going to be doing a lot of like the legendary stuff, since it's going to be episode 10, I figured that I may as well kind of explore a little bit of the fishing stuff, just because I know that by default Cobblemon comes with a resource pack that adds like all the cool little fish patterns from Magikarp Jump. It's a mobile game if you're not familiar with it. I personally have played a lot of time in it, and I beat the like Elite Four League stuff a while ago. I'll throw in probably a little picture right here of some of my Magikarp that I've had across the time. But yeah, I don't know. I found out too that the patterns also apply to Gyarados, which I think is going to be really cool to kind of see Gyarados with like the custom patterns and whatnot. So yeah, my thought for this video is just to kind of set up a little fishing dock over here, hang out, catch some cool guys. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty unstructured episode. I mean, a lot of my stuff isn't super like hard structured, but I think a lot of it's going to be like, you know, kind of chill in prep for the big video of next time. I've already got some Ultra Ball stuff going over there. I've got, you know, a bunch of yellow apricorns collecting, and also black apricorns as well, just to make all those Ultra Balls and stuff so that I can make extra sure I'm catching the legendaries next time. But yeah, I'm really excited to just kind of do some of this little fishing stuff, just because, I don't know, it may seem like not a lot, but to me it's really fun. I really enjoy the fishing aspect of Minecraft. It can be kind of, you know, relaxing at times, but, you know, I'm gonna have fun with it. So, without further ado, we're gonna hop into that quick time lapse, and I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, and with that, the dock is done. It's not super impressive, but, you know, honestly, my thought was just to have it be a nice little base of operations for fishing, and honestly, I feel like it does that. I went with spruce just because I always like darker aesthetics a little bit better when building. So yeah, I think what we're going to hop on is just figure out really how this works. I assume it works a little bit like normal Minecraft fishing, and when the bobber goes down, you reel it back up. But I guess we'll find out together. I also put mending on the rod, just to be safe so that it doesn't end up breaking. Let's see. Oh. Oh, here we go. Oh! Little Dupiter. Hey, buddy. Bonk. Yeah, again, so I think a lot of this video is going to be pretty relaxed, pretty much just catching Pokemon, chatting about some of the plans I have for the series too, because I think that there's a lot of, oh, shoot. Torterra, you're too strong, bud. You need to come back. Let's train with Eevee. I think the friendship will still raise. Is it Mystic? Oh my gosh, it's Mystic Water. That's crazy. Yeah, so I guess I kind of want to talk a little bit about what I want to do with the series. Largely, I think I really kind of sat down and was like, oh, you know, I'll do some Cobblemon stuff. And a lot of my plans were to, you know, kind of just play until I got bored. But I've been having quite a lot of fun, and truthfully speaking, I think that some large kind of projects are something that I usually like to do in a Minecraft world to make it feel a little bit more fun as time keeps going. And I think that a lot, as far as like large projects go, I had talked a while ago about, you know, setting up little monuments to certain regions or characters or Pokemon in general. And, you know, I built the red space way over there, but I really think that one of the things that I'd like to see myself do more of, or, you know, just try to figure out how to do more of, is, you know, integrate, ooh, first Magikarp, is integrate, you know, kind of just challenges of Pokemon more into challenges of Minecraft. And I think that, you know, an interesting way to do that was like through like the creation of farms and stuff like that, but I feel like I could probably be doing something more. And so I think that like between videos, I'm going to try and sit down and figure out what exactly that challenge or that kind of like through line is, or what it looks like, because I think that, you know, there's so many things that it could be, because there's so much to do in a sandbox game. Again, my ultimate goal is, you know, just to have as much fun as possible, catch all the Pokemon that are on my favorite Pokemon list, and, you know, gradually, I guess, kind of work towards not completing, but, you know, adding, or at least filling out a lot of the Pokedex, because, you know, Cobblemon, they add more Pokemon every update, and stuff like that. But I guess more than anything, I'm just interested in trying out, you know, new things every now and then. I really enjoy when I'm playing games, you know, implementing new challenges for myself, or just trying to play through stuff in different ways than normal. I think when it comes to Minecraft, a lot of what I do is pretty typical. You know, I'll get the armor, I'll set up the base, I'll, you know, be nomadic, I'll kill the Ender Dragon, get Elytra, all that kind of good stuff. But I don't know, I think I want to try and figure out something to do that's a little bit more out there. You know, so that I'm not... Ooh, Basculin. So I don't reach almost like a state of stasis, as strange as that may sound. Because I think that while, you know, I'm gradually making progress here and there on various goals, there's not like a definitive aim for a lot of what I've been doing, and I think that's okay. But I also recognize that to a certain point, there's going to be stuff that I want to do that as it stands I'm not doing right now, or something I'll look back on later and kind of wish that I did. And I think that for now, just kind of doing some... Ooh, another Basculin. Just doing a mix-up of, you know, stuff like just fishing every now and then, or, I don't know, working on a farm, or decorating stuff may just kind of be how I end up deciding that I want to do some of my videos moving forward. If that makes some sense. Like, I think that while it's fun to kind of up the ante and up the stakes, like, you know, like I plan to do next video with the whole legendary stuff, I don't know, I'd like to find some way that I can just kind of hang out. And part of it is that I have this kind of self-imposed idea that every video I need to be doing something different or unique than the last one. But I think that to a certain point, like, I'm gonna keep trying to push the envelope, do new stuff, do fun stuff. But I think every now and then... Oh, another Psyduck! Hey, buddy! I think every now and then I am just gonna kind of doing, you know, more chill videos, kind of like this one. I hope this one ends up being. Because, I don't know, I enjoy kind of these simpler, like, more, I don't want to say mundane, but, you know, these kinds of tasks, like just fishing and talking, or just small stuff like that, can be really fun. You know, a lot of the small stuff can really make the whole experience, and if it's, you know, cool stuff like fishing a Pokemon, or like I said earlier, building farms, I don't know, I'm really just interested to kind of see how this feels right to progress. Like, I definitely think there's a certain part of me that wants to do a little bit, Barboach, a little bit bigger stuff than I'm doing right now, but I don't really have I don't want to rush anything, if that makes sense. I kind of want to just do stuff as it feels right, if that makes some sense. In short, I think I just enjoy kind of being able to do this kind of silly, quiet, little bit more relaxed stuff every now and then. I guess at the end of the day, my ultimate goal is, you know, to have fun. And I think that I'm kind of worry that I'll reach a point if I'm constantly trying to do new stuff all the time, at least new stuff for me all the time, that I'll end up getting, you know, feeling like I enjoy it a little less, which just may sound kind of ridiculous. But, yeah, I mean, for now my goal is just to hang out and have fun. And my hope is that that kind of remains my goal as I continue to do this. And I've definitely been having a lot of fun thus far. You know, there's not been any moment that I can think of where I've been absolutely, like, miserable. I guess the closest thing I can think of is, like, the Regice encounter with that whole debacle of struggling and whatnot. But, you know, I still had fun the whole time. Like, there was definitely a moment where I was like, ugh, this isn't as fun, but, you know, I'm not loathing it. I think that's the most important thing. And ultimately, I think that I'm just gonna work a little better to find a nice balance of stuff to do within my videos, because I think that this may sound kind of silly, but you know, I kind of feel like to an extent there's a certain like level of unknown that, you know, I don't really know what I want to do going in a lot of times, and I think that's something that I need to work on doing a better job of. And that's not to say like, oh, all of my videos are trash. You know, I think it's just sitting down and kind of reflecting. There's been a couple of videos definitely that where I've started with a plan and finished it up in the end. But that said, I also recognize that I realized in editing the last video that I didn't necessarily finish my sorting chest. But I really just wasn't as interested in that as I thought I would be. Originally I was like, oh, well, I'll sort my chest, that'll be a nice little easy thing I can do, and then I sat down to kind of do it, and the process I just found it to be kind of daunting. And that may sound kind of silly because, yeah, of course sorting chests can be daunting in Minecraft, but, you know, it's just kind of something that I think what I'm going to start doing from now on is there will definitely be videos where I go in with a concrete plan. But there also won't be sometimes. Like, sometimes I'll kind of just start and be like, hey guys, today we're gonna go explore, and just, we'll do that. Or maybe other days it'll be like, oh, today we're gonna go, you know, try and catch this many Pokemon, because I think that, or this specific Pokemon, because I think that ultimately I do kind of want to make some progress towards, like, larger goals that I've set for myself. The biggest one off the top of my head being, you know, catching all those of my favorite Pokemon. Like, you know, I showed a list in episode 1 of my top, I think, all of my, like, it was S-rank Pokemon when I reviewed all the Pokemon independently, like, by myself a while ago. And, you know, kind of getting to that goal is the biggest overarching thing. And I think that there's a certain extent, there's a certain part of me that wants to do as much of that as organically as possible. You know, not doing any research ahead of time on any of the Pokemon. And I've been pretty much doing that this whole time. I can only think of, like, a couple notable exceptions. But I've been trying to stay, you know, pretty in the dark about how a lot of the spawning mechanics and whatnot work. Because I think it can be a little more fun for me that way, but I also recognize, like, as I do a bit more reading into things like, you know, fossil machine is a great example, or the cookpot. You know, these are all pretty integral elements that I didn't really have a good understanding of until I sat down and kind of did some reading about it. And I think that it's, I guess what I'm kind of coming to terms with is that it's okay to admit that you don't know stuff. And that's okay, you don't need to always do research, but I recognize that, you know, you don't necessarily want to watch a video of someone who doesn't know what they're doing the whole time. So I think, again, what I'm going to try and work on doing is finding a nice balance of certain mechanics to look into ahead of time, and others that I don't necessarily want to do that for. I guess more than anything, I want this to as authentically reflect that this is kind of my first time playing Cobblemon, but I also recognize that there's a learning curve, and sometimes some research is needed. And that's okay. And so I think that, you know, there's going to be a gradual process of that learning. And my hope is, you know, my hope is that I'll figure out a good way to do that where it doesn't feel too invasive or anything of that nature. So yeah. Well, with all that kind of big, more nebulous channel and, like, I guess gameplay stuff out of the way, I guess I'm going to try and go back to trying to catch one of the pattern Magikarps, because I think that, I'm really interested in seeing what all the Gyarados look like, because I saw that they had all the Magikarp jump patterns, or at least a lot of them, and I'm not really familiar with what any of the Gyarados designs look like, and so I'm going to just keep fishing for a while, and I'll see you guys when I find my first pattern Magikarp. I know I was just talking about the idea of, like, setting big goals and stuff, but I think my goal with this little fishing trip is just gonna be to catch, let's just say, like, at least one pattern Magikarp. I think two could be cool, just to see what kind of Gyarados they evolve into. But yeah, I'll see you guys once I find those Magikarp. Yo. That's crazy. So hey guys, so I had to do a little bit of research. I was fishing for about 40 minutes, and after doing that, I was like, I feel like I would have gotten at least one Magikarp variation. Turns out you need lure, but I thought it said Luck of the Sea. So I spent 20 minutes enchanting my rod with Luck of the Sea 1, cycling through enchantment table selections. Then I spent another 10 minutes trying to fish. Nothing. I'm like, okay, well, let me double check. You need lure, at least one level, so I ended up getting lure 3 from my enchantment table. And this is my first fish back. And it's one of the Magikarp variations. That's so cool. Which one is it? Is it like tiger looking? Oh my gosh. It looks so cool. Is there a way to see what pattern it says? It doesn't. It's really cool though. I wonder if we can get him into a Gyarados. You know, honestly, I think I'll let that wait for next time. I spent probably, I'm looking at my OBS says it's been 4.5 hours. So I think that is where I will call it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the kind of shorter, a little bit different video. I may do kind of videos like this from time to time, just like fishing or just kind of other smaller, a little more menial activities, just to, you know, have some fun with everything. Yeah. But in the meantime, I've been Mr. Cake Muncher. Thank you for coming out, and I'll see you guys next time for the big legendary special. Bye!